After a two-year break orchestrated by the COVID-19 pandemic, fifth edition of the Food and Drink Festival, powered by Guarantee Trust Holding Company, has returned. Tagged Authentic Nigerian Food, the free-to-attend festival has featured cooking masterclasses of cuisines chosen from around the world. Now, the question, around Nigeria rather, the question thrown up by the festival is culinary arts back? Well, joining us to discuss further are two players in the culinary arts sector from our Abuja studio, Adenike Adefila, who's executive chef, Burgundy by Chef Stone Limited, and here in Lagos, Jeffrey Kanu, CEO, Severino Concept Limited. Thank you both for joining us. Very, very happy to have you. So, my first question, Adenike, actually, Jeff, I'll start with you. Has business picked up for restaurateurs, chefs, or players in the industry known as food?
You know, some people didn't make it during that period of time, but definitely we've seen more people coming back into business now. People are freer about things. You know, there's no curfew going on anymore. We've actually seen what has been, in some ways, a culinary spring in terms of a growing number of restaurants just opening up recently. So business is almost back to normal. People want to be out now a bit more. They are things are more relaxed. Vaccinations kind of helped to stifle a couple of fears from before. So the growth can now continue. That whole being held back before is not really much of a problem anymore, but people are just being more cautious with their staff as well. All right.
And Adenike, what about you? You in Abuja? Lagos gets a lot of attention when it comes to restaurants, as Jeff just said, lots of openings here. Has there been a rebound where you are in the Federal Capital Territory?
Yeah, thank you so much. Restaurants has picked up really good compared to 2018 when I moved to the restaurant sector in Abuja. I would say there's been a significant change in what we currently have to what we used to have. Though the pandemic sort of gave us a bit of dip, but I can say significantly more and more concepts are opening, and significantly there's a lot of growth compared to what we used to have in Abuja. Okay.
Jeff, we had you on the show last time. I think it was actually COVID period, right? And you were talking about that time as far as the recovery was concerned. Where are we seeing it? Is it for the custom-made orders for special occasions, birthdays, parties, and so on? Or is it, as you've said in your prior answer, the restaurants where people are now, visiting? Are they most, if we get more granular, where are we seeing this rebound?
Oh, definitely. People are eating out a whole lot more. Just the fact that there are more options now, and people are building all these fancy-looking places that people want to try out and see how good they are. So there's that. But for sure, businesses that were thriving that COVID period, like the delivery side of things, that's still ongoing because people also want convenience. They still like that convenience. I think the convenience space kind of really grew into their systems over that period of time. So we're seeing that happening, but definitely we've seen a dip in a couple of supper club type of events. But on the restaurant side, the demand is growing on that over there, and things are improving.
Okay, so that's positive. Adenike, in the Federal Capital Territory, it's the seat of power. And I guess a lot of contracts, businesses are linked to politics there. Is that the same for the hospitality sector? And I guess specifically for your field, where is most of your patronage driven by government?
I bet to disagree, but I would not say that significantly we do not benefit from the influx of people, obviously because of the election in 2023. Of course, people come to the restaurant, but because of the kind of restaurants we operate is more of a reservation base. So obviously, if you're done with some of your meetings, you can extend by coming over to the restaurant to dine. But I wouldn't say significantly we have a lot of impact based on the election. But the influx of people obviously have helped our sector.
All right. Let's talk about the food festival. Jeff, does it help? And should we see more corporations like the Tier 1 bank, like GTCO, that's pushing this kind of food festival? What's your take on its impact?
The GTCO Food Festival, it's a great opportunity to meet a couple of international chefs who are playing in the market, and it's for free. So you get to see what their cooking styles are, what their techniques are. I get to learn about their backgrounds. But in terms of what gets offered here, we're still lacking in creativity. What we find is that you have a lot of great local offerings. That is fine. I don't have any issues with that. But I want to see people who are doing a bit more and pushing the boundaries. So you have a few great people who are doing interesting things with noodles or waffles and so on. but then you just have a high level of local stuff that isn't showing the level of creativity for the caliber of such a festival. So I'd like to see a bit more of that, a bit more creative local chefs, Nigerian chefs who are showcasing things there, and people in the food business as well, because we exist.
Right.
We just need to be put on that platform. And it's a bit of a battle because the mindset as well is very heavy on these local things. So it's about getting people to learn a bit more about food, to be explorative in cuisine, and then taking things to the next level. All right,
all right. Adenike, you got any festivals in Abuja as far as food festivals are concerned?
Apart from the food festival, I feel like more of the carnivals that happen, we don't really have a food festival. I pray GTCO come to Abuja because we have a lot to offer as well.
So it's a Lagos thing. All right, how are you both, Jeff, how are you handling the rising cost of food items? We've been covering Ukraine, Russia, Indonesia, so many countries restricting exports of food, driving up costs. How's it impacting you?
Well, you know, the thing is that you have to, it becomes a variable situation when it comes to your pricing. It's either that the client absorbs the cost or you are doing a scaled back menu, not really like a simplistic menu for people. But you look at the situation, it's something that's hitting everybody across board. All right, you bear in mind that Ukraine is the largest exporter of the likes of sunflower and safflower oil. All right, they have about 46% of the global market. You look at things like wheat as well. That's another big one too that comes from the Russia side of things. So we are seeing prices of oils, cooking oils, almost across board going upwards, depending on the type that you're using. We're seeing wheat prices going up at the same time. So it now boils down to, you know, it's how you have a relationship, how much of a relationship you have with your customer. For my existing customers, they know that they're getting value for money, and so therefore they absorb the cost at a happy level. For everybody else that you're trying to build up, you kind of have to be a bit more flexible and wonder what option can I give that is going to still showcase your talent and will be affordable for them to have a good culinary experience.
Absorbing costs at a happy level, I like that.
Well, it just depends on the situation. Because, yeah.
No, hey, it makes sense. Adenike, what about you? How are you dealing with higher prices? Are your clients accepting your higher costs at a happy level like Jeff?
Honestly, there's been a back and forth on that because it has also helped us as a business. I think Chef Jeff has covered majority, but I also think as a business it has also helped us to look within. Appreciating more of our local produce has actually been a thing that has come up even during pandemic. So I think more chefs are looking within. I mean, within Nigeria, within Africa, to source for our goods. And I think it's also a good plus to our farmers and our local produce. We are showcasing them more than dwelling on importation. I think that's what we've been doing in a way to actually maximize the hike in price and also the inflation rate that we currently have in Nigeria.
Okay, now looking within, I want to touch on that, but Jeff, let me come back to you. A lot of the cuisine that, and we should have some images of that already, but if they are exotic from, you know, other parts of the world, is that possible? Can you look within, or do you have to find another solution with respect to, you know, this, you know, external displays of your food? How do you deal with that essentially? Can you look within based on what you're doing with the culinary arts?
Looking within has been the main thing for me for a while
Honestly,
now. It's only when it comes to specific items I might look outside. So if I know I want to cook a duck dish for somebody, for instance, I know I'm going to get a better quality if I'm getting stuff that's imported than what we have here, just because there's a higher fat content and textures are a little bit better. But at the same time, looking within is basically what the focus is. But still, when you're looking within, you still go to the market and you're facing higher prices. What the price you pay for an onion and tomato these days, it's a very different ballgame compared to before. And then you look at different factors, like we have had occasional moments of things like just the dairy sector having shortage of demand. So, you know, you could go to a store, there's a limitation on how much milk you can get. The butter prices fluctuate up and down all the time, and those are all things that are still made over here. So it's really about continuing with that local content arrangement there and just factoring how to minimize on your costs by giving them the right kind of menu for your occasion.
Adenike, I heard you were about to answer that. Go ahead. Is that really possible with the cuisine, the styles, and what we're showcasing here to look within? I wanted to follow up with you on that.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot you could do with our local produce. I think for me, we operate a Pan-African restaurant, and honestly, looking within has been the best decision we've made. No doubt, my colleague has a valid point regarding the dock. The quality of meat we have in Nigeria is quite shabby, but I also think we've been able to work around cooking methods and technique that could actually help foster to showcase what we have. And I also think during pandemic, for example, we didn't have Parmesan cheese. We had Kanu, we have Wara, and this stuff has actually been there. It's just our ways of actually looking at them and appreciating what we have that I think is key. So honestly, we can complain from now to tomorrow about the hike of price. It has not significantly changed, and it won't change. Hopefully it does, but what we can do in our sector to also offer the best of quality and the best of goods and style to our customers is to actually look within, to be honest.
All right. Jeff, does your sector benefit from electioneering? It's an election year. We have the politicians, while campaigning and putting together events for, I don't know, delegates and voters. Do you get calls? Are you benefiting from the electioneering? How does it work?
You see, even though you might have your own individual political leanings, all right, you have to remember that you are dealing with a collection of people. Everybody's a customer. You don't really know whether this paying customer is this particular political party or that. You just know that they're paying for your food, and you want to deliver good food to them. So that's where things come into play. So I wouldn't say that there's anything about political engineering. I would just say anybody that calls me for anything, they get me doing my job for them. But it's not that, it's that this is part of the whole process of the political side of things. We're open for business for anybody, politicians and, everybody else.
All right, all right. Adenike, is that the case? I mean, for you, this hits more in Abuja.
Honestly, I agree.
so culinary arts benefits from this period of time.
You don't know who is coming. Honestly, you don't even know who is coming to your restaurant. Like Chef Jeff has said, we are open to anybody that comes into our door and wants to offer a service. We're there to actually serve them. So we really don't care about who the client is, to be honest. As far as you don't ask us to be affiliated to you in any way, it's just to dine. We're there to serve you.
All right. Adenike, you're in Abuja. Jeff, you're here in Lagos. Is there a market outside of these two states, Jeff?
Oh, definitely.
There is?
Definitely. We've seen a lot of things going on in a couple of other cities. You've got a lot of experts who are moving into places and trying to develop things. That's on one angle, but also local managers who are trying to create a different side of things. I was in Port Harcourt recently, and I was amazed by the quality of things that I was seeing there. Okay. In fact, there were some places I would say that even looked much better than they did over here in your typical high-level rise of Victoria Island or Ikoyi, so to speak. So definitely there is a growing market, and it's because at the end of the day, we are a large nation, and therefore the cities as well, the side of Lagos and Abuja, should be on a development front. And that's what you've seen in a couple of places. So it's a growing sector all around. All right, that's encouraging. Adenike, you agree? Is there, outside of Lagos and Abuja, is culinary arts healthy and growing?
Yes, it is, of course. My company is affiliated to Reddish Chronicles that offer culinary education. And we get a lot of calls every now and then from people saying they want to actually hire professional chefs to work with them. So I was also in Ibadan recently on a project for a client, and I can tell you, just like Chef Jeff had mentioned, that the hospitality industry is booming and is at its best at the moment. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, in fact, my next question was to put you both on the spot. So you mentioned River State. Adenike mentioned Oyo State. So it looks like it's healthy and it is growing. So finally, less than a minute to go, Jeff. 30 seconds. How do you see things playing out for the rest of this year for culinary arts? It's really a game of just trying to manage your costs, because we still don't know what the global impact is going to be further down the line, the longer this Ukrainian-Russia thing goes along. So it's also about, for me anyway, just to try and continue to give creativity and encourage people to adapt creative cuisine in the market. Adenike, real quick, 30 seconds, outlook for the year. Yeah, I would say people should just look within. I started with that, and I would insist on that. Just look within. Let's create a sustainable market rather than focusing on importation and the inflation. Let's look at ways we can actually diversify with what we currently have. All right. Look, you sound like Godwin Emefiele. Look within, and you're wearing a green shirt. So, Adenike, thank you so much. Adenike Adefila, Executive Chef, Burgundy by Chef Stone Limited, of course. Kanu, CEO, Severino Concepts Limited. Thank you both for talking to us about culinary arts. Appreciate it.